brings so much happiness. But food can also bring a lot of stress. Thrive Life wants to take away the stress by delivering simple, clean food right to your door. How would that help, you ask? Well, we've done some research. Approximately 1 in 42 trillion people actually like to wash, peel, and chop fruits and veggies. And approximately 1 in 56 bajillion people enjoy throwing out rotten produce. Our research found that a lot of the stress comes from planning meals. Although 43% of the population claims to pre-plan their meals, we found that less than 1% actually do. So, we had an idea. Let's help people not stress out about food. Enter Thrive Life. Ingredients that are pre-washed, pre-cut, and freeze-dried to lock in all those nutrients and delicious flavors, and they won't spoil in days or even weeks after buying them. Ingredients that aren't loaded with additives, preservatives, or GMOs. And for those nights that you just don't have anything planned, or frankly don't like the plans you did have, there's Simple Plate. It's a meal kit that's better than any meal kit you've experienced. According to our research, it's planned, prepped, and pre-portioned deliciousness. And it doesn't have to be made tonight. It's ready when you are. How do we do all that? It's basically magic! We start with the best produce picked at the peak of perfection. Then we freeze-dry it in the most state-of-the-art facility
in the galaxy.
We lock in the taste and nutrients so our produce is as fresh as the farmer's market, which makes it perfect for snacking, by the way. Want to try it out? Simply set up a delivery service account and start shopping. You'll become a preferred customer for free. You get all kinds of perks like free shipping. So why would you want simple, clean food delivered to your door? I think the research says it all. Enjoy simple, clean food that's ready when you are. And make sure the only thing getting spoiled here is you. Try Thrive Life tonight.
See, now it's not staring at me. I'm sort of this way. Hi, folks. See, I do that.
And then it's over here.
It's here. Hi, folks. Look who I'm sitting next to. No, they're not at our house. We are at their house. Yep. We're in the South.
You know what gave it away was the poo room. The color.
Poo room?
The color on the wall. It's the poo room.
I like this color. This is neat.
I really like it.
You think that's it?
Yeah.
But, yeah. Or it could have been a chair.
That and that big dog and that little dog.
You guys didn't do it.
Do what?
The camera's facing behind you. What do we always do?
Oh, the pew pew pew?
No. To the cabinets.
Oh, no, I was not going to do that.
Quite frankly, Jen, weren't we talking about her today earlier? Quite frankly, Jen. Farmer Meemaw! Hey, y'all, it's Farmer Meemaw.
I don't see Farmer Meemaw in here. I see some person called Quite Frankly Jen. Did Jason get a cheesecake finally?
Not yet.
Everybody got jokes.
Not yet. No, we're not in Ohio. We are not in Kansas anymore.
Definitely not.
I don't even think we went through Kansas this time. We went through Tennessee, Georgia, Tennessee. How did we do that?
You did one of those.
And it rained like crazy. I mean, we couldn't see 2 feet in front of us.
It was really bad.
And it was so windy that the camper was swaying. Yeah.
Hi, welcome to the Big Bear Homestead.
And today, for the low price of $19.95, you get the 2-for-1 deal.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, the Georgia two-family homestead.
Yes. It's fuzzy here. It's fuzzy there. It's not fuzzy here. I'm sorry, it's fuzzy there.
Well, we got somebody sitting over here in the yellow room,
Yes,
green room.
we have a special guest tonight. Been waiting to get her on for a while. And the first time that I met her, I took to her because she has the same name as our youngest granddaughter. Kaylee is waiting in the conference room, back room. It's not the bathroom. The green room. So let's bring out our honey/pig/ not sure what else expert.
She gardens.
Beekeeper.
She gardens.
Beekeeping.
Well, I said bees.
Honey, yeah.
Honeys.
Goats.
Yeah, she's got a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. Let's bring Kaylee out. Let's add to this menagerie. There's gorgeous.
She is.
Hi, guys.
So can everyone hear her?
Say hi.
She did.
Say it again. Can you hear me now?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I can hear you guys.
Oh, we have a bashful one here tonight.
There we go.
This might not have been a good idea.
So how are you doing?
I am doing great. How are you guys doing?
We're doing just fine. So what are your big plans for the rest of the summer here?
Oh.
It's not even summer yet.
Might as well be.
Big plans. Other than just working around here on the farm. Definitely involved a lot more this year in HOA for the Homesteading Conference, and anticipating a couple of, hopefully, fingers crossed, some swarms that will be rehoming here to the farm. And then there is potential talk of another complete cutout that will be more than likely being a part of, and we're going to go in and cut the colony out and bring it back here. So
you're removing them from what, a building or?
Yep. So
those are exciting, aren't they?
Go in, have them sign a waiver. Obviously, we're not responsible for any type of damages. I go in. Our first one that we did was a house that was built in the 1800s. I actually had to do research on the house to make sure that it didn't have any asbestos in the wall, but it was actually pre-asbestos era, so it was fine. But that colony was in a house for 25 years. And the grandfather that lived there actually let him be. So we were able to go in, and he had passed away. So the granddaughter was remodeling the house, and it's gorgeous now. So, but we took the colony, and it's now one of my strongest colonies here. And now we have 2 of them. We split it. And then my plan is to get the granddaughter here on the farm and get her some hands-on. And then once she's ready, I'm going to split. And
Did I misunderstand?
I think she did.
Did you say granddaughter?
yeah, well, the grandfather. Grandfather.
I was like, you're not old enough to have a grandchild.
Really had me
We
worried.
both did that, didn't we? We were like, wait, what else did you just say?
Not me. The granddaughter to the grandfather that passed away.
It's like they both got like super upset because they all, it was like Rob, especially Robin. She's like, wait a minute, I ain't got no grandbabies yet. How can you have a grandbaby?
Oh, Lord.
But we used to do that.
To get into bees, so I'm going to help her. And my plan is to give her back her bees when it's time. So that's what we're working on. So they're doing amazing.
Yeah, we were the very first nuisance wildlife removal company in the state of Georgia that did that. Mm-hmm. And we got put on CNN. They didn't call me by my business name. They called me the Bee Wrangler. I was so upset. And
That's Atlanta.
yeah, and then we got a call from a radio station in, what was it, Kentucky or something, that because they picked up the story from CNN, and I absolutely, that's one of my favorite things to do, is to go into a house and find them. It's like, I got a stethoscope, so you kind of feel like a doctor, and you start going around the wall listening for them, and then you do just like you say. Look, I'm fixing to tear this up. Now
I always bring my stethoscope, and then I have a heat detector. So I go in, and you have to do it at the right time, though. Like, you have to do it before the sun's up, because if not, it's going to radiate, make the whole wall look like it's hot.
Yeah.
But that's how you do it, and then you just kind of get in there and go. We found it, and it was the most. It was just so calming. It was just like, there's that myth. Well, it's not really a myth. There's a saying about beekeepers, and that's to the beekeeper, if the beekeeper passes away, it's the telling of the bees. So you're supposed to go in and tell the bees your keeper passed away, and then anyways, we did that prior to getting into the hive, and it was like they just welcomed it. So, I don't know how to explain it. It was just, nobody got stung. Everything went perfect, and this hive it's crazy. It's like huge.
Yeah.
That's I've never heard that.
You need. All right, I'm gonna send you some links, but it's the telling of the bees. It's a whole. You have to. I don't know how to explain it, but they're. Because, you get addicted to them. Like, you love them. Like, if you've got multiple hives, you can go up to each hive and tell their personality and, just experience, what to kind of expect. We have one hive that we call bananas, because every time you go near it, instant smell of bananas. They release that pheromone that tries to, tell you to back off, kind of thing. So, but that's my banana hives. So, but yeah, they're all different. They're just so unique little creatures that work together. So,
what first got you interested in bees? I think somebody's got to be nuts to do it to begin with. So,
okay, my first beekeeping class, they had a chart. Okay. It was crazy people, farmers, and then a beekeeper. It was like kind of right in the middle.
Kaylee, can I interrupt for a moment? Sorry, I'm old, I'll forget. Tim Beverly said to tell Kaylee her fellow Virginian said hi.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah, Virginia.
continue on with your story.
So yeah, crazy people, farmers, and then a beekeeper is like kind of right in the middle. What kind of got me started in it is mainly there really are not that many female beekeepers in the area, and
Anywhere,
and especially, that are not older, retired, and so I've always wanted to get into bees. Growing up, we kept our horses on a horse farm that had 20 plus hives, so just seeing them fly and knowing that one day it would happen, that I would get my own. And so it just I knew it was going to happen. I just didn't know when. I had a plan, and then it just kind of took on a life of its own. So, and now I'm a beekeeper, and I've actually really encouraged a lot of people to actually not be afraid and not be intimidated. And I think that that's a huge stigma about beekeepers is, everyone doesn't want to share their secrets or, how they do things. And I'm going to say there's 1,000,001 different ways that you can be a beekeeper, because you may keep bees in a different state, in a different environment. And, that's you, the way they do it, just like me. I mean, I'm going to do what works for me. And I'll never forget one of the first times that I was putting my nukes in my hives. I had a mentor come through, and he looked at me and he was like, beekeeping is the ultimate science experiment. Mm-hmm. That's really what it is.
Yes, I agree.
It's a huge science experiment. And I'll forever be learning. I mean, I might read an article. Well, they just released an article about royal jelly and talking about, that they said that basically a queen was made because it was fed royal jelly. Well, now they're saying a queen's made because it's not being fed what the other bee. You know what I mean? Like it's huge. It's a huge science experiment. So, but yeah, forever changing, forever learning.
I fell in love with honeybees in the 4th grade. Daddy was still in the Marine Corps, and we were stationed in Las Cruces, New Mexico. He was working in White Sands, at White Sands Missile Range. And I had to do a report. Believe it or not, in 4th grade, we had to do a report, and I chose honeybees. And I was just eating up all of the books in that library. And so my dad took me to the closest college, and we went to that library. And I was in there all afternoon just digesting and eating up honeybee books. And but my mom was deathly allergic to honeybees. And we knew this because my grandfather was a beekeeper, and she got stung at a young age and almost died. Then a lot of people swear up and down they're allergic to bees, but most of the time they're not. It's wasps.
Right.
And everybody's basically allergic to wasps, because the more you get stung by a wasp, the more allergic you become.
Right.
And so, and then, a lot of folks say, well, I'm just not going to take that chance. But a lot of people don't understand is that a honeybee sting is actually good for you.
It's really good for you.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I mean, okay, it hurts a little bit, but I mean, if you have arthritis, you can use it as an acupuncture. Mm-hmm. My dad got stung in the lip, and I'm like, oh, look, bee Botox.
There you go. For a little while.
Robin went with me on a honeybee removal one time, and she was getting impatient and wouldn't wait to do the buddy check. And she took her netting off and got stung right on the ear.
Ooh.
She was so mad at me. It was my fault, even though I was still on top of the ladder.
Because he was taking his sweet, precious time to get down, and it was in the middle of the summer in Georgia, wearing a full suit.
I was carrying
I'm going to be putting together a video really soon that might help beekeepers that live in hotter climates. and I'll make sure to let you guys know when that comes out. So
Awesome.
Got some little tricks, little tricks.
Let me jump in here before this gets too far back, but Meemaw's Hippobilly Homestead. So do you think bees recognize your voice?
And there's a question before that also.
Okay,
I do.
You catch that one.
I talk to mine all the time, so.
I sing. I sing to mine. I have a radio, because if you guys have seen my beehive setup, it's in my garden, which I'll dive in on that, because I've had a lot of controversy about people saying, well, you don't want your bees in your garden because they're not going to pollinate your garden. And I'm going to say that's false because of what I've witnessed.
Yeah.
And but anyways, I have a radio up in my my greenhouse, so whenever I go work the hives, I turn it on, and it's very soothing, it's very calming. I think the bees, it's just like a horse almost, like if you're anxious, or a dog even, like if you're anxious and if you're in a rush and you're just, your mind's here, then they're going to feel that. To where beekeeping, as odd as it sounds, it's extremely calming to be up against something that could really jack you up. You're almost forced to slow down. You're almost forced to focus. You're almost forced to all of this that's happening around. You have to almost put blindfolds on and just focus right here with, so it's almost like you're meditating. I don't know how to explain it, but it's definitely, I think they do. I think they recognize my tone, my voice, and just my overall.
And I think they even react to the type of day you're having. If you're coming out there and you're stressed and you're upset, they're going to get stressed and they're going to get upset. And that's, because I've had some gentle hives that I've gone out there on days I was just having a bad day, and then all of a sudden they would be more aggressive.
Yeah.
We pulled a honeybee hive out of this guy's house, and it was in an awkward position. I had to get on scaffolding to get to it because his bathroom, he built an extension onto his bathroom, but they didn't build down at the bottom, so it was just stuck out. This guy was such, lack of a better term, a jerk. And I think the bees fed off of that with him because they were so aggressive. I was wondering if they couldn't have been Africanized.
There's a better word for that. He was a misogynist.
Okay, vocabulary.
But he was, he wouldn't even let his wife sign the check to pay for the job. It was really embarrassing. He was just altogether just not a nice person.
That's really hard. That's definitely.
Sherry, did you take note of that other question?
Yeah, well, I was just biding my time. I was patiently waiting. Leatherwood Land, what's your thoughts on horizontal hives?
Horizontal hives are definitely a good trial. You can definitely do it. I know a lot of people who do horizontal hives. I haven't, and the reason why is because just watching the way that the bees actually build their comb, it's very vertical. So I've gone back and forth with the idea. I'm not opposed to it. I'll definitely one day see. The only design flaw that I see in a horizontal hive is just the overall sturdiness of it. And then I don't know if you guys have seen my hives, but they're out in the open. I don't keep my hives in the wood line. So everything's really strapped down. So, but I wouldn't be opposed to trying it. I just, knowing the way that the bees build their comb, which is vertical, and then just the overall sturdiness of a horizontal hive, I think that would, I don't know, I would definitely try it.
Are we talking about a top bar, or are we talking about just a regular?
Just a regular horizontal hive. You can use if you build it correctly, you can use the regular frames
Okay.
that you
Oh, okay.
do.
Yeah.
But you can also do it top bar.
A top bar.
And
yeah,
see, I don't
absolutely.
really think a top bar is really, I mean, because to harvest the honey, you're having to take it off of the bar, right? I mean,
Yes, this is where we disagree big time.
yeah,
I want to do a top bar.
I think it's worth a shot. I think it's definitely worth a top bar. I think, even the whole, there's the whole huge, about the flow hive thing. I wouldn't be opposed to trying it, but I'm not going to go sink a bunch of money into it.
Amen. I'm the same way.
It's plastic,
Yeah.
and it's the purpose.
I have not had any luck with getting any of these, whether it's a wild swarm or one that we have purchased, to build on plastic frames.
Yeah, no, same. We have a lot that were gifted to us, but the only time that I would use a plastic frame is if I need to just fill the bee space. That's really it. Other than that, it's wax foundation. I do use foundations. There's been a lot of controversy between foundationless and foundations. I think for a beginning beekeeper, using a foundation is good because it teaches you bee space versus, letting them build comb, and then if you don't understand bee space, then you're stuck with a huge mess, and that's not fun.
Table 4 in the Woods is asking, are either of you versed in using swarm traps to increase your hive count?
Yes.
We put out four swarm traps 2 weeks ago, right before we went to the shindig, and we had activity in all 4, but we know for a fact, we verified it this afternoon, we do have at least 1 swarm.
Yep, that's awesome. We are probably a couple weeks behind you, so we'll be putting them out pretty soon. I've been kind of already looking and seeing around the area. People are already starting to catch them, so we'll probably be putting ours out pretty soon. So, but yeah, swarm traps are a very easy way to build your hives, build your hive count. Definitely, and they're free, which is even better because these are not cheap.
Nope.
Especially if you have to buy them year after year. So.
And we built our own swarm trap, and we built 4 for what was it, $32?
it was one piece of.
It was one piece. What was it? 1 piece or 2 pieces of plywood?
It was 2 pieces, and it would have been $60-something, but we made 4, and then there was extra pieces.
Yeah.
So not a whole lot sunk into it.
We save the nuke boxes. They're just easy. I save them, and then if you never want to get rid of a nuke box because you don't know if you have to reduce your size or.
So we've never had a nuke.
Bee Lady is asking, how many hives do you have, and do you prefer nukes or package bees?
Definitely the nukes, and right now 6, soon to be 7, and then I have 4 nukes coming. So, and then I have plenty of room for the swarms that we'll be catching, and then we put our county, the police department, and all the pest control, they know about us, so I'm anticipating quite a bit. My plan is I had a goal for 20 this year, but my plan is to help other people in the area that really want to get into bees. So I don't need that many hives. So my plan is to hopefully get set up to be able to help other people.
That's cool.
That really want bees, because it's expensive. So it's really expensive to get started. And I think a lot of people, I really feel like that's what deters a lot of people.
I agree.
And even starting.
I agree.
Single Dad Homesteading is asking, if you have a ton of hornets in your area, will they take over your hives? He's clueless and he wants to start.
Yeah, you can set up hornet traps. You can set up I know yellow jackets, definitely. We set up a yellow jacket trap last year, and that worked pretty well. Surprisingly, it was like a container with a piece of wood, put some soapy water in it, and then if you have like nasty canned tuna fish, and smear it underneath the wood and flip it over, the yellow jackets will like go up in there, and then they can't fly out, so then they just die.
I've personally never had that happen to us. Now we've got bed yellow jackets here. I've been lucky, knock on wood. I've never had them take over a hive. We don't have a lot of ball-faced hornets around our area. We have a lot of the European paper wasps, and of course the yellow jackets. But I've never experienced that, so I've never even heard of that before.
Only time we experienced that our first year. I lost one of my hives to yellow jackets, and the reason why, and it's because we went into the beekeeping mentality of being treatment free. Now, after doing a lot of research, I found that you can't, if you buy a package of bees, or if you buy bees from a nuke, you almost have to find a breeder that produces treatment-free bees. I mean, it's the same concept of like, they've been treated, and then now all of a sudden, like, you're going to be treatment-free, and they're just not used to it, unfortunately. That's my theory on it. But we were treatment-free our first year, and then I lost all of them. So now we treat, but we treat with oxalic acid. It's said to be a better, healthier way of treating. So it works. I mean, we haven't had any issues since starting it.
I wonder if that maybe might have been some of our problem this year. This last year was our first year where we bought bees. Most of the time we catch wild swarms.
Yeah.
And because we're always, or we were before we moved up here, we were always getting calls. And now it's kind of like I'm on a waiting list up here, and I'm still the new guy, so they, how the good old boy system works. So I just kind of, and not trying to sound ugly or anything, but I kind of got to wait for somebody to die before I move up in the list. So we had to buy some package bees, and we lost both of them.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, because what you're saying makes a lot of sense.
I mean, that's the only thing I could think of, and I did... I mean, I am not knocking the treatment-free people, and I'm not knocking the people who treat. It's back to people are going to beekeep the way they're going to beekeep. This is the difference between, for me, my mindset. Yes, I have bees, but I'm not a honey farmer, if that makes sense. I'm more of a beekeeper. So I'm going to do, within reason, what I need to do to keep my bees alive. And oxalic acid is a really safe way to treat. I believe it's considered organic, if that's the proper term for it. But we do the gerbil method. Super easy.
What is that?
You mix, I'll give you the link, but the gerbil method, so you take the oxalic acid and you mix it with sugar water, and then you gerbil it within the brood colony.
Oh, dribble.
I promise you, it sounds like you said gerbil.
I thought you said gerbil. I'm like, whoa.
Wait, what? That's what it is? Gerbil method.
We just got into a weird area of beekeeping.
And you don't know do beekeeping. This is interesting.
So you dribble it in the...
It got very uncomfortable here.
Dribble.
Okay.
Dribble. Oh, that was cute.
You can also do oxalic acid using a vaporizer. So
now, what does that acid do? Is it boost their immune system, or?
The mites, it's kind of the same, from what I've been told, it's kind of the same concept of like, it gets on them and then they clean each other off and it helps drop the mites.
Okay.
So
Cool.
But I mean, it works. It's worked pretty well our last couple of times. But yeah, I mean, and the best way you want to treat when you get a package. Now I feel like I'm telling people how they need to beekeep. If I were getting a package, I would treat right away. You can treat a nuke, but you have to do it in a series because the brood pattern. So you would have to treat like 3 times within, like, I think it's every 7 days, is what I have written down. So, but you want to pull the honey supers off when you do that as well and leave them off. I think it's 15 days is what I have written. So it's another thing. I keep a notebook with me because I don't remember all of it.
So much.
Write everything down.
Yeah.
Yeah, off grid with Doug and Stacy said powdered sugar works well also.
Yeah, that works.
Now a bee is basically it's an insect, so that like what Doug's saying, powdered sugar, that wouldn't clog up their what are they called, spiracles, the holes in the side where they breathe.
No, the sugar method, I know a lot of people who use that. That's actually a treatment-free, if I'm not mistaken. That's actually considered a treatment-free way to reduce your viral mite count. So that's a good thing. I feel like the only issue that we had with that was I feel like you have to do that quite often. And so for me, I'm a little limited on my time.
Right.
So,
The city-stead is asking, have you ever caught a local swarm, and do they stand up better than the nukes you buy?
The swarm would be the one cutout colony, and I would absolutely say yes, because swarms are a good sign of health. They're going to split and repopulate, and so yeah, swarms are really good to have. And again, they're freebies. Yeah. Because I don't know what it is for you guys down your way, but I think a package of bees is at least, I want to say like 120.
Yeah, 110. Now it's like 110 or 120 for us.
Yeah.
And then you got to look and see where they're coming from too. And that's another thing. Like, nukes are already in your area fairly. Like, you can find a good local beekeeper that's within your area within like 30, 40 miles. It's always good. But a nuke out here runs about $180. So.
Yeah.
Well, and with that swarm, Bandana Grandma's asking, why do bees swarm away from one hive in search of another?
It's just a new queen. We might have hatched a new queen. And then it's funny. We joke about a colony, and we think of it like a kingdom, like a castle. You've got your guard bees, you've got your worker bees, you've got your queen, of course the lazy men. I'm just kidding. But we think of it like a castle, like a kingdom. So when a new queen is born, she either kills the other queen off. So yeah, sometimes.
That's a good analogy to describe a beehive.
Mm-hmm. I like the lazy man reference.
Of course you would.
I do my boys, I do love the boys. They're just...
the honeybee boy has a very hard life.
Oh, please.
He eats some honey. He eats some honey. He goes out, but when he mates with a queen, he's so good at his job, he explodes.
He dies.
That's a hard life, to be that good at a job that you literally explode.
One hell of a way to die, though.
Right? And then he's saying this is the bad thing.
Just saying.
I can hear Daryl. I can't see Daryl, but I can just hear it in his microphone. You can hear it. He's like, I can hear him just shaking his head.
And he's sitting next to him.
Only Jason would talk about that.
I know it's true.
Bee biology 101.
Oh, this is what's really cool about bees, though. There is so much to learn.
Jason, you need to read the screen.
I'm trying, but somebody won't catch up to the chat.
Because Mima's Hippobilly Homestead said, "Oh my Lord, Jason, you need Jesus."
Well, look, you cannot look at a beehive and say there's not a God.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Anybody that asks me and they say, why do you believe in God? Why do you believe in Jesus? I hand them a bee suit and say, come on, and I pop my top and I say, explain this to me. Mm-hmm. If this wasn't done by a creator, explain to me how all of these little tiny things can make this much. Everybody have a job. Everybody's got a responsibility. Everybody works together in harmony.
The way they communicate, the way they dance, the way they regulate the temperature of their hive. I mean, it's amazing to me.
And then
I was able to get on one of my last lives. I took my phone out and showed them the communication between the bees. One of the worker bees, the forager, she was returning and she was literally feeding the other worker bees, the other foragers, what she had found, and that's a way for them to communicate it's like, I brought this to you.
Right.
You need to taste it. It's good stuff,
Here, eat some cheesecake.
This is how everything works. And, I read this article, which I thought was really fascinating, but a bee is taught, they are taught their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
They have to learn their jobs. It's not, I'm sure it's still instinct, but the whole inner workings of a colony and how yes, the queen is important, absolutely. But so is the day-old egg. Mm-hmm. Because without that queen, they could make a new queen with a day-old egg. It's just the whole thing. It's just so fascinating. Right. But I will definitely.
How is that not intelligent design?
Mm-hmm.
How is there not a God? And then you just stick your finger in there and you get yourself some honey and you jam it in their throat and you're like, now. You think you are a Pooh Bear? Stick a finger in there.
So Country Girl asked if I wanted to start with one hive, how much approximately would be the initial cost for a basic setup?
I would probably recommend you start with 2. Mm-hmm. And the reason why is because if one hive wasn't thriving, you could combine them. Mm-hmm. So I would definitely start with 2.
But you could get those starter kits. Beekeeper starter kit that's a complete hive with a head net, the gloves, and the book. And last time I looked, and they're like what, $100 and a quarter, and then you got to add the price of the bees.
I would probably say with 2 hives, because you don't need a lot of. You can add on as you go. Mm-hmm. But the thing about bees and supplies. I start to tell people to prepare in October for the following year. Mm-hmm. Because, everyone, once spring comes around, everybody's like, oh, I'm going to get bees, but it's already too late. Yep. You almost have to start in October, just kind of preparing, especially for a new beekeeper.
Well, let me ask you something. Do you build your hives and so forth, or do you just buy them?
No, I build them.
You build them, okay. So do you have plans that you recommend for people, or?
There are, I'm trying to think, there's one that I have a couple of different types of hives. My bee supplier that I really like.
Do you have that information on your website, or?
Yeah, that actually might be really good to put it all out there. We changed our name on YouTube, and I'm definitely focusing more on my bees. So as I'm going through this process and taking everybody with me, that's actually a good thing. I can start really putting my bee supply information on there. and who I get my supply stuff from. I was trying to look and see
Let's see, we buy ours. I was just starting to kick, after we built the swarm traps, we've been kicking around the idea this year to start building our own just because of the cost aspect. And plus, doing my research in the winter, looking at the different types of hives, there's some really cool looking hives out there. And I want to play around with some top bar hives.
Yeah, I think it's worth to try.
Yeah.
Worth trying.
Yeah.
So you never know if it's going to work or not if you don't try it.
Right.
You know? And I mean, it's worth it. I mean, I have a couple of ideas. I really want to actually build my own hive out of like logs. Like I want to go in and cut the inside of the logs out and actually fit in frames, because bees do very well in trees, you know. So that's something that I would love to try. And then we recently got our mill, so I've been sending my husband some ideas, maybe, with cutting some thicker hives, some thicker wood. So making it a little bit, I don't know, we'll see. We've got some ideas. Right now what I have is they're doing good. But to City Girl, I would probably estimate maybe around 700 for 2 hives, roughly, between your setup. But the thing about it is, if you find a local bee club, you can probably get a discount, because when you go in, and I really recommend taking classes before. Most of the classes start up in like February, is when they actually start teaching. But if you get in with a good club, they're going to literally take your hand and walk you through it and tell you, like, this is what you may need, you know, and actually save you money.
And some may even help you set you up with your very first hive of bees. And they'll definitely be able to turn you on to and help you catch swarms and all kinds of stuff like that.
The important thing about beekeeping is it's going back to your location. You know, you guys might beekeep different than I do. And that's just because of our terrain, our location, and things that I might have to worry about, you might not have to worry about, or vice versa. Like Africanized bees, that's not even on our radar, hopefully. Not yet.
When we moved up here, we moved just above the line where we don't really have to. Augusta is starting to have to worry about it, but not yet. I just thought I might have stumbled across like the first one, because there was one the year before, a little bit south of Augusta, where the guy was knocking down an old shed and it had Africanized bees on it, and it killed him.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I would...
Hello, this is Darryl. Who's calling, please? Hello?
Can you hear me? Oh, I heard him a little bit.
Just a little bit.
All right, hold on 1 second here.
Kaylee, while he was doing the phone, the city said to Kaylee, I watch a lot of beekeeping videos, but you're the only ones who makes it seem like this is a romantic hobby.
It's because it's a passion.
Okay, try it again.
Exactly, that's what it is. It's a passion.
Hi, Darryl. It's Steven.
Hi, Steven. How you doing?
Doing good.
Let me make sure. Kaylee, you can hear him okay?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Steven.
Well, I've just been through most of your videos recently, and loving them all. I just finished off with you introducing the new kids on the block, your two little goat babies. Adorable. It's been a great fun watching all the videos.
Thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun making them, and it wouldn't be as easy to make them if it wasn't for the people who are watching them, because the people who watch them really give some awesome feedback and make it easy for me to enjoy making them. So appreciate you watching them.
Well, thanks to Two Family and a lot of others, I've learned about a whole bunch of channels. And I went through and read your a lot of your blogs on your website, and very, very nice.
Thank you.
I love the picture on there. Very cool.
That's what
All right. Well, I'm gonna let everyone go. Thanks for a great fun night. Nice to see you, Jason, and Sherry, and
You take care,
Robin,
Stephen.
and Daryl.
Take care, Stephen.
Take care, Steven.
Stephen.
All right, everyone, have a great night. It should be a fun one.
I think
as always.
so. It's only just begun.
No doubt, no doubt.
All right. Good night, Stephen.
All
Thank
right.
you for going. Bye-bye.
And
Maya, the line is open.
single homestead dad, come on down. I'll get you. We'll get you set up and get you going with some bees.
Oh no, he's talking about coming to get your cheesecake,
No,
not your bees.
You try and get double tapped.
Hello, this is Daryl. Who's calling, please?
This is Jeremiah.
Hollywood!
Why am I calling you? I don't think this is going to go well. And also, I would like to say, I do not want any of Jason's South Carolina shenanigans to detract from Kaylee's channel, because I really do appreciate her as a person, and I think that everything that she's doing is valuable. And so if you guys need to do something childish, I will entertain it. But I want to say, Kaylee, this is not a reflection of you.
I can't hear you over my homemade peanut brittle that I'm eating.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't see and talk on the phone. So I can't see what you guys are doing. You're just going to have to describe it to me, Jason. What is going on here? Use your big words. Big words.
I got homemade.
Jeremiah. Uh-oh.
Nanny, nanny, boo, boo.
I can't see it. Oh, this is the worst prank ever.
He's using the phone that he's
Is an
watching.
excuse. You know he's got it up on the TV. I just got handed two.
The internet's down. Oh, man. Well, you'll have to watch it on the replay.
You're gonna have to watch it on. I got two. Let me describe it to you. One.
Yeah, just give me a play-by-play, and then apologize to our friend for being such a baby.
One is just a plain cheesecake. The other one.
Oh yeah, that sounds great.
The other one is a strawberry cheesecake.
Wow,
Have you guys
strawberry's
ever
my
had
favorite.
I know, and
I'll be honest, man. When I said yesterday that I was going to really try and turn over a new leaf and be nice to you, I meant it. So you know what? You deserve all that cheesecake because you're such a good guy.
Kaylee, what were you saying?
So
had,
you enjoy that
ever
cheesecake
had
as it
plain
adds to your
cheesecake
waistline.
with honey?
Oh, plain cheesecake with honey. I bet that would be amazing. We have
That
some
actually
honey.
does sound good.
We have honey, so we should try that.
Hey,
Oh,
with you
sweet.
turning over your new leaf, your new leaf, Jeremiah, I will say this. Why don't you come here, and I will share this cheesecake with you, and we'll turn over a new leaf together.
That's love.
Oh, how about that?
Yep, I'll even get some sherbet for you.
Did we just become best friends?
I think so. I think so.
Rubber cheesecake.
Manly bonding time. Manly bonding.
There it is. There it is.
Isn't there an oil for that?
Yeah, we got to come up with that, man. We got to. I don't know what that's called, but we gotta figure
It's
it out.
not boom boom oil.
I would say it's cedarwood.
No.
Cedarwood,
No.
there you go.
Lang lang.
Like no lang
Lang
lang.
If you break out
No.
yay lang lang, it's back to the old ways, and I'll punch you straight in the face.
Okay.
All right, no, seriously though.
All right, we've got one other thing here for.
Yeah, don't leave yet, Maya.
Oh no, I can't. Wish I could see what's going on. I'm gonna try and.
You lost
Look,
your
hold
internet?
Yeah, and he's having to talk on his phone.
we had a lot of rain over the weekend, and our phone lines are buried. They're not in the air. So when it rains, they fill with water sometimes, and it causes problems.
Meanwhile, we all need
Hold
some
on, just give me
popcorn.
1 second. I'm gonna try and pull up the video and then turn the volume down, and hopefully that works. So if it feeds back for a second, just give me a minute.
Online auction, the cheesecake. I don't think Overlook Valley, Jason's
Not
going to allow that.
Not happening.
We're lucky he shared the peanut brittle today.
Oh, look, I try to explain it to everybody.
Like crazy?
Sherry's cheesecake, I've been like Hudson Hawk, just trying to get a cup of coffee. She brought the very first time, at the very first HOA, she brought around the little cheesecake bites. And I never got one.
Yeah, because who did I bring them for?
Rose.
Mm-hmm.
The second year, she brought me a cheesecake.
Terry, there he goes. And Terry, those are small ones. I had leftover batter.
Yeah.
So I had 4 small ones.
And my girls ate it.
Oh wow, those cheesecakes really do look good.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Come on, brother.
Same kind you got,
I'll put them in
Maya, except they're small versions.
I'll put it in the freezer. Because I'll save the, if you're going to try and come, I'll save the strawberry one because I know strawberry is your favorite.
Yeah, Brenda, the Dreamsicle and the key lime are in this refrigerator. They haven't tried those yet.
Lone Star Living is hinting.
Okay, so what was the?
I need an address, Jonathan.
YouTube to mute and talk on the phone at the same time. So what was the other thing you were wanting to show me before I get out of here?
Okay. Well, I gave Jason some cheesecakes. That way he was,
Yes, I
he was
saw that.
happy. Okay. Well, we can't leave Robin out of the thing here. And since they were both gracious enough to have us here this last few days, this is for. Now you're going to have to show them what this is. This puppy is heavy.
Okay, so this is a cast iron 12-inch
Look on the back of the thing.
Lodge, and look at what's on the back, y'all. Can y'all see that?
Yeah, it's showing up
That
perfectly.
is amazing. You see
Okay,
it?
new rule. You're not allowed to hit me with that.
But then you truly would be Big Bear.
Dead
If you
bear.
heat it up first and then hit him with it.
Yeah, and then we could just
We were
mark
bonding.
him for life.
Man,
Kaylee,
yeah.
we were bonding. You and I were bonding over bees.
You know what the really
We're
sad
bonding.
part about something like this is you don't ever want to cook on it. Like, it's so pretty. Like, you don't want to touch it. You don't want to mess with it. So I will be hanging this up somewhere. This will be awesome.
Yeah, we just happened to go by on our way here yesterday. Saw a billboard, Lodge Outlet Store. My eyes got like golf balls.
Yeah, she sent me a message. They were on their way, and then all of a sudden she's like, road detour. And I was like, oh God, did they get in an accident or something? And then she's like showing me pictures of Lodge cast iron. I was like, oh, I am so jealous. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
That
very
was
much.
amazing.
Well, thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us. I've enjoyed it.
I'm not hugging you.
That's okay.
I mean, I appreciate the cheesecake, but
I may have a little slice of that.
Look,
Yes.
Lone Star's like Lodge Outlet. Where?
It's in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jonathan. It was off of.
There's a couple of them.
75.
Well, it was the place where they make it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was the factory.
The factory and the outlet store is right there.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah. So the very back part, everything is seconds.
So, Jeremiah, you're getting ready to get into bees here pretty soon, correct?
Yeah, we actually bought from a friend who is doing something pretty wild. They're packing up all their stuff and reducing their herds down and moving to Alaska.
Wow.
Like, they leave in like 4 weeks. And they're like moving from here, like right next to us, to Alaska, where they got 1,500 acres. It was wild because I was at their house hanging out with them when the Alaska Game and Fish called them to set up their grizzly bear plan. I was like, whoa. They have to have a plan in place for when a grizzly bear shows up to eat their goats. And it's like, well, we're going to try not to kill him, but we might have to kill him because he could kill all of us. I was like, this is intense. and they're in the, let's see, I think they're in their 50s, like mid 50s or something. And like, this has been his dream, Lane's dream, for like a long time. So like, they're just doing it. Like he's actually already up there, and then Lisa's going up in just a little while. Like I said, 3 weeks. And I mean, it's wild to me, but I'm like, you know what? Go get it. Make it happen. Anyways, they're getting out of their bees because they don't want to transport them and pay for all the custom stuff to get it through Canada up into Alaska. And so we got enough boxes and frames to set up 3 separate hives with 2 supers each, and then the pans they sit on, the lids, 2 medium boxes each, and then 2 small boxes each. And I think she gave it to us for like $300 or something.
Oh, wow.
I mean, like, super, super discounted. So Ben Vinson has said that he'd give me a nuke, and then we have some friends in Conway that do a lot of hives, and they actually opened up a storefront, which I think is a great idea and something that they should do. They should really start mimicking this in other towns. But essentially it's called Brothers Honey, and they've got a whole kitchen set up inside their storefront that has a spinner and a processing set, like it's a whole like honey kitchen for processing your honey. And then in the actual storefront, they've got all kinds of honey products made by local people. People come and sell their honey there. You can get flavored honey. You can get, I mean, it's just literally, imagine anything that has to do with honey, they have it in the storefront. And it's almost like a place, kind of like a homestead community for honey people and for bee people to come. And they host, beginners classes and intro classes. And I mean, they're doing a cool thing. And so they're friends of ours, and they will probably hook us up as much as they can. So I have a lot to learn. And everyone keeps saying something about, Doug and Stacy's video that came out. I haven't watched it yet, but they said it was a pretty good video for people getting into bees. So, and honestly, we know a ton of people that are already into bees, so I'm not that worried about it. I think we'll figure it out.
You'll have plenty of people that'll be willing to help you, I'm sure. There's at least 2 on the screen here.
And also, I need to ask something because...
And Bee Lady is here, and Jason. And...
I hope I'm not stupid, because I kind of feel stupid. Now, at Honeystead, did you change the name of your farm or your channel or something? Or am I completely confusing you with someone else?
Don't feel stupid. I kind of did it discreetly. And then I did like an announcement.
This is the previous farm on Quail Hollow, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Because it's like, if not, you have a doppelganger who also does YouTube, who looks just like you.
Yes. I'm the Mangalitsa mama. So.
Okay. I thought I had it right, but then I get on here and someone's like, our guest tonight is Honeystead. I'm like, who the heck is Honeystead? I don't know who that is. Like, they need to correct themselves before they wreck themselves. And then I'm like, wait, I'm kind of confused here, because for a second there, my heart stopped, and I thought I was saying, hey, to Kaylee, and then it's someone else, and I'm like, this is embarrassing. But luckily it is you, and you just changed your name, so that's better for me.
Yeah, no, I did. I changed my name. It's shorter, it's easier, and our farm, we're kind of in the transition of actually rerouting.
In the transition of what?
We're rerouting kind of our idea on what we want to do. So we got the mill.
So did you have to restart your channel? Did they let you rename it?
No, I just changed the name. The only thing is I didn't really customize our URL, so it's still kind of like basic, which is fine. I don't think I really need to worry about it. But I had to tie in. I changed our Instagram, and then I changed our Facebook page to Quail Hollow Honeystead to kind of link it together. I wanted to do it.
Okay.
But since I have the farm business and I sell meat and produce and whatnot, I have to legally still kind of keep Quail Hollow because that's where I have my meat handler's permit and everything in. So for me to be able to do that.
Right. Yeah, I was wondering, how is the rebranding process going to be like? So that's interesting to know that.
What I'm rebranding is
you're making it work.
The stuff that's a little more out there. I don't mind being a little smaller here, community, but I wasn't anticipating the amount of growth that I've had on YouTube. So.
You weren't anticipating?
No.
Why?
I mean, I thought it was just going to be for fun, and then I started, like.
Yeah, I kind of know the feeling.
Yeah. So.
No, you're going places.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going to go.
Join the train.
Yeah. I feel like I'm still learning. I'm like been messaging everyone that, I'm like, what do I do here? Like I got an email, cause I got monetized, which I'm like, woo, but I'm like, I don't know what to do. Yeah. So it's different.
Just do you.
Yep, just be you.
Just do you, boo.
Yeah,
you're awesome.
Don't be fake, because it'll catch up with you.
Oh no, I don't think I can hide my. I don't think I can be fake.
But there is somebody.
Jessica vouches for her, so she ain't fake.
There is somebody in the chat here that wants to know if you are an artist.
Yes, I do paint. I am an artist. I actually, Amy Fuel's new book that is coming out, I just did all of the artwork in her book. Well, not all of it, probably not.
No, but the draw, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I got that. And
we actually just got like a preview copy of that to look through.
Yeah,
check
all
out.
those little chicken chicken sketches. That was all done
nice.
by. I got to do that for.
Wow,
her,
that's really
so.
cool.
Okay,
Yeah,
You got this talent all over the place.
And that was asked by the Fishes and Loaves Garden and Home with Mama Woods. So.
Yeah, I like to draw. That's kind of I like to. I don't know. I had a farm accident when we kind of first moved out here, and I don't know. I know you guys are kind of still new to me, but I did share it. I think on one of my blogs because maybe I did. I don't know, about injuries on the homestead and like preparing for that because it's gonna happen. But me picking up a paintbrush and picking up a pencil, it's a kind of a big deal because I was stabbed by, you can't see it, but maybe you can. Can you see that?
You can, yes.
All right, so that was one little puncture from barbed wire and turned into a giant hematoma, and I was lucky because they almost had to make an incision from my elbow to my hand anyways, I'm good. I can do this, but I still have a lot of it's still pretty tight. So, but yeah, so I pick up the paintbrush as much as I can. So, because good times, good exercise. But yeah, that's another thing, you guys. If you guys are preparing for a homestead or have a homestead, have a plan for injuries because it happens. So, good times.
Oh yeah, I probably should look into that because my plan is to not get injured.
And I'm gonna suggest bubble wrap, a pineapple, and some duct tape now, maybe. But
no, I've got special.
Yeah.
I've got a ton of essential oil salves that Jessica's put together that have a lot of helichrysum and stuff, so that heals up things pretty quick. I use a lot of super glue on cuts, and I use vet wrap.
Yeah,
and he loves to eat pineapple.
The super glue, that's a very common tool in the surgical world to glue skin back together. So it's not exactly called super glue, but
right. Same concept.
Yeah, I actually learned it from a Navy corpsman while I was active duty Marine Corps. He basically carried essentially a super glue. Whenever someone got an abrasion, he'd clean it real good, which, I'll clean it really well so I don't lock in any bacteria or anything, and then we'll super glue it shut.
There you go.
That's exactly what you need to do. And then sometimes just let it heal by secondary intention if it's close to having an infected area. So,
Now, Kaylee, you actually work a full-time job too, in the medical community, right?
This is, you know what? I haven't told anybody this. Well, I know, I think I've told.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say something that you didn't want to say.
You're fine. I'm not ashamed of it. I love what I do. So, but Jess knows. But yeah, I work.
Like, you guys, like, think of all the stuff that she's doing, all the growth on YouTube, the bees, the Mangalitsa, all that stuff. And then she works in the medical community full time.
Yeah.
Like, people talk about Jess being busy and, like, how does she get it all done? Like, I don't know how Kaylee gets it all done. She probably has clones.
I wish.
Well, I thought she
has
only
her
got
own
clones
castle.
at 25,000.
Well, yeah, she has one that goes by Quail Hollow.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Farmer Quail Hollow. Yeah, that's your clone. Okay, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that's it. No, you know what? You just do it. But my husband, he's a huge part of it. You guys probably, I've slowly kind of been adding a little bit of clips of him just kind of doing his farm stuff. He is probably never going to be the voice of my YouTube, which is fine. I don't want him to be, but he's very much a part of it, just on the outskirts. But yeah, for the farm life, we do a lot of this together. I think we spent our 13th wedding anniversary castrating piglets, so that was a thing.
Let me just
celebrate our marriage.
Kaylee, let me just jump in here for a second so I don't lose this. The Cajun Homesteader is asking, can a channel change their channel name without losing subscribers?
Yes, several of us answered.
Yeah, the answer is yes, you can do that. However, it's going to be dependent upon your content. Because if you change your name and your current subscribers don't like what you're doing, if you change that, you may lose them.
Right.
So it's all about content.
I was worried about that. I was worried because I changed it right. Like one day I looked at my phone and I think I had like almost 1,000 subscribers extra. And it was like right when I was about to change, and I was worried that I was going to lose it. But when it comes down to it, it wasn't, I had to do it. I just had to like make it a little more separate from the farm business. So, but it hasn't changed anything. Like I still get subscribers often, so which is good.
Old Grandpa's Farm is in the house. Now there's a channel name I haven't seen in
a long time.
Many moons. How are you doing, Grandpa?
Woolly Mammoth.
Well, guys, Kaylee, it's been awesome talking with you. You're an inspiration to us for sure. So.
Oh, you guys are doing the same. So I can't wait for this year, this HOA. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be very different for us, but it'll be fun. Also, I'm wanting to improve on some things. I've got some questions about the Mangalitsa, so I'm probably going to message you. Yeah. I'll probably get with Jessica and message you directly or something like that, so I don't have to go through like email or anything. Anyways, because I'm mostly the husbandry person, I've got to take care and work out the feed and all that, and so I'm kind of trying to learn how to best manage the breeders, if that makes sense, as far as like growing them out and getting them big enough for breeding and all that. So I'm gonna ask some questions on that. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna get out of here, get my kids in bed because they're driving me crazy, and I need some not kid time, as I call it. So
not so public display of marriage.
Yeah, I love you guys. I love the community, and Kaylee, I love everything that you're doing, and we just, like I said, sure inspiring. And Jason, one day, after we've been nice to each other for a while, you'll be inspiring too.
See, what happened to that new leaf, brother?
Good night, Maya.
I was biting my tongue. I was biting. You left so many things wide open, and I was taking that to heart and biting my tongue over here.
All right, no, seriously, old man, I love you. See you later.
Love you too, brother. Semper Fi.
All right, Maya, thanks for calling.
Yeah, man.
Bye, Maya.
Yeah. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, folks, and I know there's been a couple people try to call while Maya was on the phone. I'm sorry, I can only take one call at a time.
Them Hollywood Marines are long-winded.
The line is open if somebody would like to call.
It's past your bedtime. Almost.
So why did you choose the Mangalitsas? I mean, I understand why Jeremiah chose them, but...
Because they got curly hair.
My husband and I, we wanted to start raising pigs, and we didn't want to pick just the run-of-the-mill pig. I'm a foodie. Like, I love to cook.
Mm-hmm.
I love to eat. I love everything about it. And I wanted to pick a breed of pig that you can't find at the grocery store. Okay. So I started doing some research on pigs and picking a pig that is based off of your meat quality. And that's how we found the Manga. So the Mangalitsa, it's considered like the Colby beef of pork. So if you have seen any of my videos or anything like any of the pictures, I'll actually probably have some for sale again this year at the HOA. Last year, I brought my freezer, and it was pretty cool. Like, it worked really well. And I feel like this year, a hand-hewn farm is going to do one of our mangoes. So that'll be cool because people can see firsthand.
What do they taste like?
Well, I think it's definitely what you feed them and how you raise them that changes their, like, you can't even compare them to the store-bought. It's like a steak. The quality of the meat is red. It's marbled. It's rich. Now, like, have you had like Berkshire?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have Berkshires, Yorkshires, and we have American Guinea Hogs.
And Hampshire.
American Guinea Hog would be a marbly. The Yorkshires would be more of a pale.
Mm-hmm.
Berkshires would be like a pink sweet. So for the manga is like a combination of the American Guinea and the Berk. Okay. So it's going to be dark marbled and then have like a real meat taste. And if that makes any sense.
We're gonna have to get some mangoes now.
But it's also how you feed them.
Are they good foragers?
They're really good foragers. We fenced in quite a bit of our property that's kind of hillside. So we have a lot of acorn and a lot of walnut. So they're able to forage and finish on the acorn, which completely changes the texture of the meat or the flavor of the meat. But the biggest thing with the mangas, and actually a lot of pigs, corn really can taint your meat. It can make it so yellow. And what I look for is I want white. I want creamy white meat. So we try to stick with like grains, barley, alfalfa. We were getting brewer's grain from 2 local breweries that use non-GMO grains and spices and herbs, and that made your meat just amazing. Like it's, I can't even, and then it's also recycling, so what one person would consider waste, we use it. Now, granted, the protein content, I think I read an article once, I've never actually had it tested, but the protein for the brewer's grain was somewhere up in like the 30% protein. So it's really high in protein.
Yeah, they use it on a lot of dairy farms because it's high in protein to help with milk production.
Yep. It's really high in protein. So the pigs love it too, but I wouldn't solely give that to them. No. But that's kind of how getting away from.
Now, with them having that curly hair, will it scald off just like a regular pig's?
Yeah, scalds off just like a regular. It's actually, what's really funny is when you run your hand through it, it's very wiry, but then there's a real soft undercoat that you can feel. I've actually had a lot of questions lately about people asking if they can, use it for knitting, and there are people who do. I just don't want to be stuck on camera trying to go shear my pig if I'm on its back running through the woods. So I'm gonna tap on that one.
Because I don't think you can stick your thumb in your pig's mouth like you do a sheep to shear it and flip him over. I just don't see that working.
No. That would be that would be a new adventure. Back to the injuries on the homestead.
Yeah, right.
What a great segue.
But yeah, definitely the mangoes are one of we actually had I had a lady contact me today. It was just out of the blue, and she was literally down from Martha's Vineyard out there.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, I typed in, your information. I found out that they're camping like right down the road. And so she was like, can you put a package together? So I just literally like, what do you want? Bacon, pork chops. I even did eggs, brought it to her, and she's like thrilled.
Oh,
so she's like, before I go home, we're probably going to load up. And I'm like, all right. Like that's fine. That is the type of customers I like. I like people who want to try it to learn, because now they're like, well, maybe I want to go buy a pig. I in no way ever feel, because some people get really competitive, if oh, well, they do that pig. No, you know what? Like, there's more than enough. Everyone can support that pig. That one of the reasons why we got into that pig is because it was almost extinct in the 90s. So,
How hard are they to find? Because now you got me. I might buy some from you, and at the HOA, and if more than likely I might even
now
message
that's
you
going to
before
be interesting.
and tell you to put some off to the side.
I was just thinking.
The Airbnb.
What?
They are, you can find them. The hard part of that is in the United States, because they were imported. Unless you get a legit lineage paper from imports, it's really hard to confirm what you have.
Right.
Because people can cross, and there's nothing wrong with crossing. Some breeders are completely opposed to it, but they do take longer to grow. They do take longer to finish. So we did cross our Berkshire with them, and they're like tripled in size. But we mainly did that for meat, not for breeders, but there are some good breeders out there. A lot up in Michigan. I think there's a good one. I want to say there's a good one out in North Carolina. I'd have to look at. There's a Facebook group for manga people. So, but there can be, if you want the lineage papers, they can be pretty pricey. So there are other ways to like look at them and actually like determine, because looking at their snout, their coloring, the insides of their ear has to be a certain color. It's ridiculous. There are ways.
It's kind of like the American guinea hog. People just they get a little over the top about it, and
everyone has to have the best.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just I just like
good meat.
Yeah, I like good meat, and I like to know how my animals are raised, and so.
Kaylee, Single Dad Homesteading wants to know how he can get in touch with you to buy your stuff, products, animals, meat, whatever. So I've been going back and forth. It's really hard for me to get a lot of my products out there because of timing. I do have some, but I'm more or less kind of gearing up for the HOA. So a lot of my products that I'm doing. You need to come to the HOA in October.
Yeah.
I mean, truly.
Everybody that's going to that, that knows what the vendor areas look like for HOA are pretty much, they've already started gearing up for HOA.
All the cool kids go to HOA.
Yeah.
This year I'll have I'm anticipating to have honey that I'll be bringing. I should be bringing some of my meats. I make jewelry with the honeycomb, so I'll probably be bringing that. I'm gonna play around with some other things that have something.
By the time I got done volunteering, she was cleaned out. It's like, that's not going to happen this year.
I am bringing more of my lotion. My lotion went really, I mean, that was a huge hit. So, and that still is a huge hit. So this year I'll definitely be bringing my lotion, and I'll need to get some more doTERRA oil. So if anybody wants to hook me up with that, I'll buy it.
There you go, Robin.
doTERRA?
Yeah, yes, who happens to sell it.
Robin sells doTERRA,
Perfect.
and so does Jess now.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I mean,
I'll end up buying a bottle from everybody then.
There you go. That's what I mean. I have to. I don't do doTERRA to build. I do it to be able to have the oils for all of the stuff that I make. So I mean, all of my soaps that's got doTERRA oils in it. So that's basically what mine is all for.
so if we want
to, I used a lot of it, and
But
I mean, I
knows her
use.
stuff.
This is gonna sound, but one of the lotions that I make is with the Mangalitsa lard. So, I use it, and I use it on my face.
So I have a question I have a question for you, Kaylee. Making products with lard. Did you have that at the HOA this past year?
I did.
With the lard. Did you market special that it had pork products in it?
Yes. We actually learned really fast to do that because there was a lady, and it still breaks me. I still feel horrible. And she was extremely apologetic because it was totally her fault. But she read the sign, and I don't think because I had it under Mangalitsa body butter, and I think it didn't
process, right?
Yeah. And so I had a sample jar out, and she tried it, and she was like, oh my gosh. And then,
oh my gosh.
So I made a sign special that said, made with animal products.
Yeah.
And that was it. And she wasn't upset or anything. It was very much but I didn't have any. I was a little worried that I would have people be like, why are you doing, but I use my animals to the fullest, just like many other people who raise them. If I can make beauty products with it,
So we do that with the guinea hogs because of how much lard you get out of them. We process the lard, and I use it in my soaps, and not all of them, but some of them. And I ran into the same thing. We had cut pieces of samples, and I had to, and I had not thought of that ahead of time. Yeah. And I was I was in a panic, don't touch this because it's got animal products in it. Leave it alone.
Maybe I'll have this is gonna sound really bad, but a vegan warning sign, no,
I think what somebody told me to do is to kind of, when you're presenting, where you have your stuff, is present them more, make it kind of easy that the stuff on this side is more animal products and the more on this side isn't.
You okay?
He's dying over there.
Okay, now for you vegans in the room.
I know, right?
He just did we just get?
How many thumbs down?
I need to check how many thumbs down. That's what I was just thinking. Oh my goodness.
You just did a first. I'm usually able to, when somebody says something funny, not to bust out like that. That is the first time I've ever just without.
So White Picket
Make a
Fence.
shirt that says no. We'll leave it there. We're not.
White Picket Fence said some people are okay that it's an animal product, but some do have a problem if it's from pork specific.
You are
so
very right.
Right,
White.
and that was what I ran
right.
into. Is I had a couple of people that were solely against pork, and I had to be very careful with this is made from pork lard. You can't touch it.
Yeah.
If they are kosher.
If they're cut right. Exactly.
And I use that term sparingly.
Kaylee.
Hardneck Farms. Howdy, vegan here. Hi.
Howdy, vegan.
Don't judge me.
Kaylee, somebody else, Monroe Hill Farm is asking how much land are you using for the pigs, or how much do they require?
As long as you do rotations. So I have kept mine on 10 acres split. And then so my setup is 5 acres, 5 acres, and then I have farrowing pen, farrowing pen, farrowing pen, farrowing pen, and then it's all connected. At one point we had like 68 pigs.
Wow.
And we've sold a lot. We've sold a lot to restaurants. We've sold a lot to people who want to grow them out. We've processed a lot. But you want to rotate them every so often because of them rooting. Now we are down to 13, soon to be 10. So we did. I mean, we've sold a lot. But we kept them on the wooded lot a little bit more, longer than what I would normally, because it's connected to my pasture. So my plan is to eventually clear more of the wooded lot out by utilizing the pigs so that I can extend my pasture. So you couldn't even walk in it before, like it was that thick. So now it's great. Now you can actually walk. But we started throwing down seed, and so as long as you move them, depending on how many you have, that's another thing. So if you have 3, 2, I would never have one. I would never just have one. They need a buddy.
We have 31 American guinea hogs, and we got 400
feet of fencing.
Feet of
it's 100
Premier
by
One
100 by
fencing.
100 by 100.
And we move them every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And like the paddock that they're on right now, we're going to move them tomorrow, and they've only been on there a week. But they found some stuff in there that they really liked, and they went to town. And a lot of it is just judging by looking at what paddock that you got them in, judging it and going, okay, it's time to move them because.
Yeah. But the really cool thing that I'm finding is it's only been maybe a month and a half, and the very first paddock we put them in has already grown back grass.
Yeah.
And so your rotation doesn't have to be, it's like what you were saying. You can rotate them out pretty well to where you're coming back around month and a half, and you're right back to where you started again. If your paddock's big enough. You can definitely rotate out and still work that land. And the really great thing about it is they're fertilizing that land for you as well. And so when that grass comes back in, it's darker and it's nicer, and it just gives them more. And the other thing too is anybody that has a garden and then has leftover root vegetables or anything like that, rather than try to pull everything all up, turn the pigs loose in there. Man, they found some daikon radishes that were they were massive. And you see them just pull them up out of the ground and toss them around and start eating them.
Walking around, walking away from each other.
Pigs.
Yeah. Walking around from each other, and they got it dangling out of their mouth like it's a cigar.
And then the Jerusalem artichokes, you always think you've got them all, and there's still so many in the ground. We turn them loose in there. And they pulled up, I've never seen so many Jerusalem artichokes that they were eating. It was crazy.
Now, Kaylee, what's about the average size of those Mangalisas? What weight do you butcher at?
Probably I like to get them up to at least 280. Yeah. 280 is about the smallest. And it does take a little bit longer to get them to that size, but it's also how I raise them. They're open to a lot more land, so it does,
So they're a lot leaner too.
They are not as lean. They're a very lard pig, so they still have to. The butcher still has to kind of cut off a nice fat cap, even when they're on as much land as they are. So
cool.
Now, are they on the Arc of Taste? For slow
what
food?
Is that?
For slow food.
For slow food.
Oh, yeah. Probably.
I think they would be because correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't you say back in the 90s they were almost extinct?
Yes.
Yeah, so they probably are.
Yeah, they definitely are. To where one typical pig, Berkshire or Tamworth, or 10 months would be about processing. The mangas could take. We average around 15 months. 16, 17, around there.
Yeah, that's about right then.
Yeah. So it's probably on the architects, the slow food.
Yeah. It takes longer, but to me, it's worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, we wouldn't do it if it wasn't worth it. But what I am finding, and it's part of the farm business that I have, but a lot of people don't have freezers anymore. So that's, selling individually packages, that's easier, I guess. It's hard because it's almost like yes, it takes a little bit longer, but for me for me to have the farm business and sell product, I have to take that into consideration too, because I have to store the meat, and since it's not as easy for people to buy a half of a hog or a whole hog, so there's that. But we have had a restaurant owner buy a lot. So
yeah, if you can, I always tell everybody when they want to start doing this, I would not focus on selling to the public. I would try to get me 1 or 2 chefs. Yeah. If you can get those, yeah, you'll be more than busy.
Yes. So, but it's that torn, because I still love talking to people, to make their own product the way that they like, or just, how do you cook this? Well, this is how I cook, just, I guess the foodie in me, I guess, likes to have that more one-on-one with the people who are purchasing it. But we're not exactly stopping that process with the pigs, but we're refocusing what we want to do. The garden has been a big goal for me, and then my husband, we purchased a mill, so that's his new toy.
Have you ever thought about, and maybe you guys do, but have you thought about, or do you do offer classes on your homestead to teach people how to cook the fresh food?
That's hopefully going to be in the works. We purchased the property across from us with our family, and we have a dream to have a big barn that's going to have a kitchen that I can have it be USDA inspected, mainly because if we really start getting into bees, and if it ever gets to a certain amount of volume here in Virginia, we have to have a USDA inspected kitchen. So
that's the way it is here too, and that's one of the things because that's on our bucket list, is to be able to offer classes and stuff like that. Because we've even reached out to the churches that are in our area that do these food drives or food giveaways, and we've offered to put seed in the boxes, and we've offered to come to the church and hold classes and do it for free, not charge, and they tell you no. And so that's been one of the things that on Robin and I's long-term bucket list, is to open up what we're calling like the Big Bear Institute, where we're going to teach everybody.
This is Daryl. Who's calling, please?
Hi, hello from the other life. How are you guys doing?
Just fine, and yourself?
So far, so great. Better than I deserve. So, I do have a question for you all. Let's say I want to start a business of having pigs and selling them to restaurants and meat, like produce stores or something like that. What kind of pigs would I choose?
Well, there's a lot of variables in that. Each pig is for each different thing. Like if you want to sell and you want your big thing to be bacon, you're going to need one of the baconer breeds. If you're looking for the marbling and stuff like that, you're going to go towards more your heritage breeds and more towards your lard breed of pigs. It's really going to be what's the better question is what's your target audience?
Your market, yeah.
I was thinking of my target as a restaurant, mostly.
Then you need to kind of start going to these restaurants and sitting down eating and having conversations with those chefs to find out what they're looking for.
Right. And that's another thing about being a producer of a pig for a restaurant. You know, I've run into everyone wants, like, for me, like, if I sell it, you know, I'll have an order of 60 pounds of pork chops. You know, that leaves me with no pork chops. And then now I've got broths. And now I've got, so if that was my main focus, I think I would probably really assess the restaurants that are around. We chose to do a more, like a higher culinary, higher desired pig of breed of pig that we raise. But that limits me, because if you look at the areas that are around, most of them are pulled pork, barbecue, brats, you know, that. So I would probably assess your area. Legally, the logistics of it all, you know, you would, depending on what state you're in, you know, you would definitely need to be insured. You definitely need to, for me, I have, you know, my meat handler's license, but that gives me the ability to sell meat individually in a packet. I can sell a whole pig. You would buy the pig from me live. I would take it to the butcher, and then you would pay the butcher. The real money maker in this whole situation is the butcher, because they have the USDA inspected plant, and I mean, I would have to pay, the cheapest that we have around here is like 65 cents a pound for processing fees. That's the cheapest, which isn't bad. But
more about that too.
There are more for me to like have my farm label on it. That's another thing. Like, I have to pay an extra 15 cents roughly. So I think it's closer to like 85 cents a pound. So, I mean, that's another thing that you would want to consider. Also finding a butcher and get a good butcher, because the butcher is your finisher.
Yep. And then you got to have it USDA.
He's got to be USDA certified. And do not be afraid to ask him for
a tour.
To tour.
And you want to watch how they do it. You want to actually go through.
That's the last thing I worry about is paperwork, because I do ask paperwork every single day on things, and I'm used to that, and I'm not shy about it.
You know, you, depending on what state you're in, I would definitely look up your laws, look up what's in your area, cottage laws, you know, just really research yourself. Because
I'm looking into 3 states right now. I'm looking into South Dakota, Wyoming, and Wisconsin.
Okay. I don't know. I'm not familiar with their laws, but I would definitely, get yourself as educated as possible with the logistics of it. Because in the end, I'm probably going to get in trouble saying this, but in the end, you're up against really big name people. So, and we, you know, big name farms, big name producers, and it is really hard to get all the information, like really hard. So,
and you're in an area, Kaylee, that does have some pretty big size, like, pork producer companies. So I definitely feel you on that one.
And they will purposely make some of the laws and stuff very hard to find, just so they can come out and shut you down.
And then also,
I would expect something like this, to be honest. I've seen other types of businesses. Like, I used to be armed security guard, and we had similar situation in Sacramento, California, when a small company tried to rise. Bigger companies are trying to lobby into closing smaller companies. And that's one of the ways to shut down smaller companies. And I've met that in real life. So, it's very harsh.
Yeah, if I were you, I'm not saying don't. I definitely think it's worth something to look into. You know, if you have a dream, if you have a vision, hell, if somebody told me that no, you know, a couple of years ago when I started, I'd probably, you know, just be like, okay, well, I'm still going to do it. Definitely do it.
I have another question. So, you guys were talking about rotating the area for the pigs, like averaging about 2 weeks per paddock. And the question is, how do I measure how many pigs per paddock? Is there like a rule of thumb, or like I know it depends on breeds because some of them root more than others, but like just a rule of thumb, is there anything like that?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I would more or less assess. Plan. I mean, because this is the thing. When you start out with pigs, you're going to start out as a piglet. So you can probably have quite a bit more in one area. But then as they grow, they're going to be bigger and they're going to do more damage. So it's hard to justify. It's hard to like narrow it down depending on, like for me, what works is, you know, I didn't really like having more than 10 pigs in one area. They did a little bit more damage than what we were expecting. But it also has to do with what type.
The thing is, here in the U.S., in beginning of 2018, we did a thing called Workaway. Me and my wife, we traveled through East Tennessee and North Carolina. And we stayed at multiple farms, and I noticed that, like, they moved their pigs around and things like that. That was something new for me because back in Kazakhstan, where I come from, we don't do that. We just keep the pigs on the one spot, and we just feed them on the one spot. Everything is in one spot. And to be honest, we never had any problems with, like, them getting sick or them, like, getting injured or whatsoever. Like, I've never seen a problem.
Did you have a parasite plan in action? Did you, like, what did you do for parasites? Because that's one of the biggest.
There were, let's see, parasites. We didn't actually have that problem down there. It was not a problem at all. And when we would butcher them and everything, we would have some other commission system, like similar to USDA here, that would inspect our meat and we're good to sell it. It was simple as that. There was not a big thing about pigs or animals getting sick. This was rare. The most common, like with animals, like with any type of animals, the biggest problem we ever had, it was cattle, when cattle would chew a plastic or something like that.
Yeah,
that was the biggest problem we ever had. We'd never had any other problems in there.
Yeah, I mean, for me to sell, you know, meat, like I have to have a certain plan and I have to rotate and I have to move, but it's also because it's, you know, that works for us. You know, I was always taught to never keep your pigs on the same property for more than 2 years, mainly because there's so much nutrients that are in the ground and the minerals. And if you keep them there for too long, I mean, it just eventually it's, you know.
How about a hard surface, like let's say like a barn style of pig thing, you know, and just clean it on daily basis. That's pretty much similar to what we had in Kazakhstan in some areas. Not everywhere, but in some areas. We just had hard floors. We just clean it on daily basis and just rinse it off and just give them fresh hay and they make their own bedding.
Some people do that. A lot of the big pig farmers do raise on concrete. And I'm not knocking that. You know, I might go to a restaurant and buy a pulled pork sandwich and that's how that pig was raised.
Yeah.
But for me, just because I am attached to what I'm doing, I do have love for how I'm raising my animals, and ultimately I know their fate. So, you know, keeping them on concrete, that also adds in another role of waste management.
Not on concrete. We never did concrete. We did hard floors like hardwoods and things like that.
Hardwood's good. I mean, but it's my only thing that I would consider is just the waste. What do you do with the waste when it's, to where if I'm out...
Waste was not actually a big deal. It gets gathered in either solids get gathered in a pile, and then each spring, the whole neighborhood just takes it apart. But the liquids, they just drain into a septic system that we built ahead of time.
Yeah. But what this all comes down to is there are so many different ways to raise animals, and it's just what you feel is the right way.
Right.
But
at the same time, even now thinking about it, even those animals that live in a barn-style situation, they did have access. They had a door to get outside and just run around and do their thing in roots and stuff like that. At the same time, their home was that barn.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good luck on finding out your information. Do some research, find out the laws, see what rights and what you need to do to be able to get the right information, and then go from there.
That's pretty much what I'm on a face-off right now is just research. That's why I'm asking all those questions, what you guys think and things like that.
All right. Well, good luck.
Yeah, thank you. You guys have a great evening today.
You too.
Thank you for calling.
Yep. Thanks so much for calling.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, there was another question up here from Our Life at Hidden Meadow Farms, wanting to know what the ratio is woods versus pasture in the 10-acre paddocks.
Woods versus pasture in my 10 acres. A lot of it is woods, but I do have quite a bit of pasture that's fenced in that we will put them in when needed, when the grass gets too high and they get in there. But I also have grown more with our goats, and I'm not 100% comfortable keeping my goats and my pigs in the same kind of rotational area. So we haven't actually put them in the upper pasture, but I do have a lower pasture that none of the animals have gotten to quite yet. We have to build a bridge. So that'll be our next adventure.
How much land do you have?
40 acres total.
Nice.
So, and then there's a chance to grow a little bit more. So we're assessing, and there's some landlocked properties that we might be able to pick up for nothing. So we'll see. It's an investment.
Yeah. So if I wanted to order a package of meat from you and have you have it there at the HOA for me, is that possible?
Yeah, that's possible.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. I actually started kind of thinking about that because last year I brought a whole cooler, or a whole freezer. I put it in my red trailer, had electricity run to it. And I just brought a whole bunch of just a variety. But I think this year what I'm going to do is put it out there hey, taking orders for HOA and and then what I'll do is hold it until the last day, or you schedule your pickup and then go from there. So, because last year we had a lot of people that wanted to, experience the HOA and, buy meat, but I'm no, it's here, it's in the freezer. I saved it for everybody so that they can still go around.
Well, Kaylee, we certainly appreciate your being so gracious here this evening.
And thank you for letting us be a part of it too. I know it's usually just Daryl and Sherry. Thank you for letting us.
I'm glad.
Because I'll be honest with you, I was just like Jeremiah. Every time you was commenting stuff on our Instagram and stuff, I kept asking Robin, who is this Honey Homestead. Who's this Honeystead? And I know she'd get tired of it after like the third or fourth time. She's like, that's Farm on Quail Hollow. And I'm like, did we make her mad? I haven't seen them a while in our live stream. She's like, that's because she's the Honeystead now. She's there. She's just there as the Honeystead.
It's the only other thing. I haven't really been able to pop on that many lives because it's because of this life out here. It's taken up quite a bit.
We certainly understand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, your name changed. Just threw me for a loop like Jeremiah.
I was really like going back and forth between it, and
I agree with why you did it. I understand because you and Robin had a conversation about it. Yeah. And I 100% agree with the decision that you made. It's just, look, I'm just an old jarhead. It's going to take me a little while when I get used to calling somebody something. It's like there's people that I've known them for years, but I can't tell you what their name is, but I know the name of their YouTube channel.
Yeah. Yeah, nope, I'm right there. So, but definitely, I'm glad that at least now, hopefully with this live, everybody will now put a new.
Well, hopefully we got some people interested in you that never even heard of you before.
Yeah, maybe.
So we certainly hope so. Sherry, can you share with the folks where we're going to be for the next couple months, where we're going? And then
I'm supposed to know.
Yeah, I just put you on the spot here.
We're going to be in the truck and the camper.
but
on the road.
Okay, and we're going to.
Next Saturday, we will be in Kidron, Ohio. Layman's store is having I don't even know what it's called. My mind went blank. But Off-Grid with Doug and Stacy will be there, so we will be there also. We are like their silent stalkers. The weekend, Hamiltonville Farm. The weekend after that, 2 weekends after that, May 5th and 6th, we will be in Mansfield, Missouri at the Baker Creek Spring Festival. And if folks can write to Rare Seed, their email, I don't have it right on hand right now.
Rareseeds.com.
Rareseeds.com. They have an email. And tell them that you want Daryl from Two Family Homestead to do their live stream. He already talked to them at the Shindig, which next year you have to go to the Shindig. We had a blast at the Shindig.
It was really nice watching Robin call the hogs.
See, I did because I was in the very back. I didn't hear that. Then in June, we will be with Big Bear in Ohio. And
that's at Meyer Hatchery.
Meyer Hatchery in Polk, Ohio, which is like 45 minutes, if that, half an hour from us. Fantastic. In July 27th, there is Pratt Family Homestead Hootenanny in Somerset, Michigan, which is at a campground. Great fun, great time to take the kids. The very next weekend, in August, on Sunday and Monday, is Off-Grid with Doug and Stacy's Life Conference. Once again, Big Bear Homestead will be there. They're going to get tired of seeing us this year. And we had a blast last year, so we will be there for that. And Hannibal, Missouri is a wonderful town. If you have children and you consider not taking them to a conference, this one's worth going to. Not only will they learn stuff from the speakers at this conference, Hannibal is a wonderful town for the children to learn because this is Mark Twain's town. So they'll get Tom Sawyer, Becky Thatcher. Our granddaughters learned a lot of information from going with us. So that's August. September, I don't think you
get to breathe, I think.
Mother Earth News Fair is September 14th. We'll be in Pennsylvania.
Oh, it's in Pennsylvania?
Daryl signed up to be a volunteer. I go, we did? And we were accepted. So we'll be in Pennsylvania. And then October, we'll be in Virginia. Mm-hmm. Big Bear Homestead. Kaylee will be there. And this time I'm going to order some stuff so I know I can get it from her, whether other things sell out or not. That is in Royal
Oak.
No.
Help me on this, you two.
Fort Royal.
Fort Royal,
Virginia.
Virginia. Gosh,
Yeah.
it just went. Phew. And that is a 3-day event. The first day are classes that you have to purchase for your class. Big Bear had one last year on his trapping.
Predator control on the Homestead, and doing it again this year.
And
This year our our class is going to be a lot cheaper because we are not providing the Homestead Trappers kit this year. That was just way too expensive, and I think it put the class out of a lot of reach. We've dropped it down this year, and we are providing basically a how-to DVD as part of the class. That you can, once you're done with the class, if you forget something and you can't figure it out with the notebook that you get with us, you'll have the DVD to be able to do it, where you'll see us making the traps and you'll see us doing a lot of the things, and then us explaining a lot of the bios of the animals and stuff like that.
And
you're also invited back here Memorial Day weekend if you want, for our class that we're holding Memorial Day weekend with JJL Forge. It's a blacksmithing predator control class here Memorial Day weekend, and it's going to be a 2-day class, intro to blacksmithing.
And JJ is an awesome guy.
Yeah, and beginning predator control, and we're providing your meals also.
So that's it for us.
Thanks, guys, for letting me.
Thank you
come on here.
for doing this. It was, like I said, I've been waiting for a long time. So all I had to do was hear her first name and go, "Yep, it's my granddaughter's name. We're buds."
So Robin is definitely going to be in touch with you about setting up a box for us, because I really want to taste those Mangalitsas, and you may have just converted us to add a third breed of pig here on the Homestead. And if Robin starts to fuss, I am going to send her your way to blame you.
They're just so cute. I mean, they're just so woolly. No. I understand. I mean, it's a good meat. So.
And I'm probably going to be picking your brain a lot too about some different stuff with some honeybees, because I am really getting tired of making simple mistakes and losing my bees.
Yeah, I mean, we all, you know, it's one of the things that just happens, and sometimes, sometimes things just happen. But I've been helping quite a few people. At least if I don't have the information, getting them to the right information, and just networking and going from there. But yeah, Jason over at Cog Hill, he's been picking my brain quite a bit too. So he's got a unique story with his hives that he recently got. So it's kind of.
My biggest battle is wax moths, and I can never seem, no matter how strong the hive I can get the hive, it always seems like within a 3-year period I get hit with wax moths.
Do you freeze your frames after, like when you pull them off? Have you frozen anything?
Yes, and okay. It doesn't.
There are wax moth traps out there.
Yeah.
I haven't used them, but I hear they're pretty good. So that could be something maybe to look into.
Do you know if they go in the hive, like the small hive beetle traps?
I feel like they do. Okay. I feel like they do. Maybe they don't. I'd have to look. We've been, luckily, knock on wood, have not had any issue with wax moths.
We've gotten nailed hard 3 times.
I wonder if it's the climb, like what,
Yeah. Honestly, I'm a little worried about the swarm that we got out in the trap, because it seems like the wetter the year, the more they come out.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I've heard a lot of people say that. I was trying to look up right here on the wax moth traps. I don't know. We'll pick each other's brain, and I've got some good. I do have some good mentors that might have actually used some of these traps. that's why my go-to is always ask somebody who has used it in their experience. But yeah, definitely good to look at. I do, and I think you can even find them on Amazon.
You can find anything on Amazon.
You probably can.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Well, holy cow! It's 11 o'clock my way.
Yep. Kaylee, thank you so much. Again, just want to say to everybody, if you'd like for us to do the live stream at Baker Creek, be sure to send them an email. We'll see when we get through with that. Thank you, everybody, for being here this evening, and we will see you next week with Goldshaw Farm. Take care, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Night.